Okay, so now what we are going to do is start to create the realistic surface anatomy on the foot. So now the thing to keep in mind over here is that we are really going to be creating or really doing micro movements to create the surface anatomy on this foot. It's because it's much more smaller on the human body. The other thing to keep in mind is that the foot really is more of a bony structure, so the surface anatomy is going to be coming from the tendons, the small muscle groups, and of course the small fat deposits and the veins, right? So when we start manipulating the edges on the foot, it's really going to be using the same methodology that we used when we did the abs, where we're using this idea of randomization and this idea of suggestion, basically putting the topology in the correct place. So when someone who is looking at your 3D model will be automatically be able to fill the rest of the information by themselves. Okay, so let's go ahead and click on tab to go back into edit mode over here. So this is exactly how we left the foot in the previous lesson. So what we want to do is click on the vertex select mode, and we're going to go ahead and click on this vertex, shift key down, and then go ahead and click on this vertex. Press the J key to join. And this is going to give us a triangle over here and another triangle over here. Go ahead and select the edge select, click on this edge, do Control A, 1, and then 2. So we get the two triangles over here, right? So that triangle was over here and we moved it on this side. Go ahead and click on this edge X, and we can now dissolve this edge. So now if you take a look at what's going on in the idea of topology over here, is that it's really this vertex that's creating the depression between the tendon over here and this small muscle over here. Okay, and this vertex over here, if you look from the side, it's really the starting point for this heel concept on the muscle. Okay, so what we want to do now is go ahead and select this edge over here, and we're going to actually rotate this edge. Now before we do that, I'm just going to do tab to show you why we're doing this, right? So we will have to think about the underlining bone structure of the top of the foot over here. So we know that over here it's really going to be kind of like a slide over here, and if you rotate it like this, you can see that there's this shadowy area over here, and we want to remove this so it aligns correctly with the idea of the underlining anatomy on the foot. So if I do tab and just click on this and do Control A one time, if you do tab, you can see that how this automatically corrects itself like this. Okay, now let's do A to deselect this. Now I'm going to do tab again to go into solid view, just to show you that this tendon over here, since we've already placed it as a landmark concept, we're just going to make it a little more subtle. It doesn't have to be that exaggerated. So just do tab, go into the face select mode, click on this face, shift key down this one, then just do W smooth 1, 2, and 3. And if you do tab, you can see that how we have this very subtle feature over here. Okay, now do tab to go back into edit mode, and then A to deselect. Now what we want to do is go to the right view by pressing 3. So what we're going to do now is create really this ball shape here in the back of the heel that is on the foot. So let's switch to the edge select, and what you want to do is click on this edge, and you're going to do Control A 1 and then 2. Okay, then we're going to rotate with the middle mouse button, and we're going to find this one right here. Okay, do Control A one time like this. So if you take a look, they're basically opposites of each other. Now if I do tab, just to show you, see how this ball joint is coming? So we need to make it more curvier over here. And the way this is going to work is all you have to do is simply just click on this edge over here, this edge, and just do W smooth 1 and then 2. And then click on these edges just like this and just do W smooth 1, 2. Now if you do tab, you can see that how this formula system automatically gives you the correct surface anatomy over here. Now the next thing that we want to do is do tab, and we're going to click on this edge, just do Control A, and this is this idea of these fat deposits. We're going to add this here. If you do tab, you can see why we're doing this, right? It will add it over here because of the weight of the foot. Now do tab again and go to the other side, and we can do the same thing. Control A 2 times over here. So it'll go in that direction. Now you can see that when I'm trying to look over here, this foot is coming in the way. So let's make sure that we're on the modifiers tab and just click on this eye. So it'll just make it go away over here. So you can see that we get this really nice feature over here that we want. Okay, so the next thing that we want to do is actually, let's take a look at the top area over here. So I'm going to actually, I don't want to unhide that right now. Let's just click on this, and we're going to make that major tendon that's going to be here, that's on this side of the toe. So just do Control A1 and then 2. So if you do tab, you can see that how we're getting this major tendon over here. So you can rotate your foot up and down and actually feel this with your fingers and visually see where this tendon is. Okay, so we have that in place. Now the other thing that we want to do is click on this edge. Now I'm going to do tab just to show you why we're going to rotate this. This is because, see over here, this is the top of the foot and then it's going down, and the fact that it's going down, this means that this circular idea for this bone also has to have a curve over here, because this is how it is on the foot. So if I do tab and just do Control A one time and then do tab, you can see that how this automatically fixes this area. Okay, next we're going to do tab again and just click on this edge over here, do 1 and just zoom in to get the smaller grid units. I'm just going to bring this up 1, 2, 3 and then 4, and then do tab over here. Okay, so what we want to do now is move on this side of the foot, and let's take a look at this arch of the foot over here on the side of the toe. Go ahead and do tab, and we're going to click on this edge first. Now remember, this is the edge that we put in to create the edge loop so we could join these toes over here. So we're going to rotate this, Control A1 and then 2. So now just rotate this like this, click on this and just do Control A1 and then 2, and if you follow over here, do Control A one time. Now do tab. So if you now rotate like this, you can see how we get this really nice curve over here for the foot. Now the other thing that we want to do is now take a look at this foot from the front over here. Okay, now go ahead, just click on this and press the period key on your numpad. It'll just zoom in like this, and now you can rotate around. Okay, so now look at how this edge is going. It's going to go from here, 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 and then it starts to turn to the left. It's curving. And it's also true on this area over here, the definition of the toe, and it starts curving. So what we want to do is do it in such a way where this edge is going to connect up over here, or basically the line is going to go in this direction. Okay, and we can do that by simply clicking on this edge. Now do Control A1 and then 2. So if you look, if I just reselect everything, how this line is going in this direction. So all we have to do is click on this edge, do Control A1 and then 2. And now we can click on the face select mode, click on these faces all the way down here to this finger and select on these, and just do W smooth 5 times. And when I do that, notice how this area is going to shift to the right. So I'm going to do W smooth 1, 2, 3, 4 and then 5. And if you do A to D select, you can see that how we've automatically corrected this. So now we're going to be left with this shape over here. Okay, so what we want to do is make sure that we are in the edge select mode. We want to move this shape all the way down over here. Okay, and we can do that with the rotate edge function. So now just notice before we do that, that this over here is an edge, and just imagine that if this was a full edge over here, this is really just a quad, and we've got 3 edges stuck in the middle, because you're going to see this pattern quite a bit in 3D modeling when you're using this concept. So if I click on this and just do Control A, you can see that first of all that we've got the line that we needed. Okay, and this is not going to do that floating vertex concept over here, but we can simply do X and just dissolve these edges. When we do that, you can see that that pattern has now moved over here to the left side over here. Okay, so I'm just going to do the same thing. Click on this and do Control A, click on these 2 edges, X, and then dissolve. And we're going to do this one more time click on this, Control A, click on this X, and then dissolve. So you see that what we've done is now move this pattern over here. And the reasoning for this is because it's going to help us to create this idea for the toe. Okay, so we've done everything that we wanted to here for the surface anatomy of the top of the foot. Now let's take a look at the bottom, what's going on in the bottom over here. So what we want to do is create this heel area over here. We're going to click on the face select mode, click on this face, shift key down, this one, this. Just do E to extrude and then right click to get out of it. Then you're going to do W and smooth one time. Then press down the Alt key and then just right click on this edge. It'll select this whole thing. Shift key down, select on these two edges, then you're going to deselect all these edges. So it should be in this pattern. Okay. Now you're going to do W smooth 1 and then 2. Then simply click on these two and then do W smooth 1 and then 2. So if you do tab, you can see what we've done is created this area for the heel. Okay. Now do tab again. So what we're going to do now is switch to the edge select mode and get to this edge over here. We're going to do Control A 1 and then 2 over here. We're going to click on this, Control A 1 and then 2. So what I want you to notice is how this pattern is going in this direction, right? So now we can click on this, Control A and this will just become the part of the wedge over here. So what we're going to do now is click on this, Control A 1 2. You can see how this entire edge is here, right? Because this, when your foot is on the floor, this is really what's touching the ground. The arch is not going to touch the ground, and this area is going to touch the ground. Okay, A to deselect. And then we're going to click on this and just going to do W smooth 1 and then 2. So now we're going to take a look at another feature in Blender, and we're going to look at proportional editing. So what proportional editing allows us to do is really just move an edge or a vertex or a face and give us the ability to have other surrounding faces come along with it to create nice curves. Okay, so the way we will do this is, first of all, click on this face over here, and I want you to just click on this face first and go to your right view over here. So now, because we have snapping on, if I click on the G key, you'll see that now I'm going to scroll my mouse wheel to make this more smaller. So I'm going to right click to cancel this. Now when I do the G key, I want you to look over here, look at the proportional editing number. So I'm going to do G, not move the mouse, okay, and I'm going to do it where I get around 26. Okay, it doesn't have to be exactly 26, it's going to be 24, 25, whatever. Okay, as long as it's at around 0.26, and then just right click to get out of it. Now we're going to click on this blue arrow. So now notice what happens when I click on this. And remember, we're in the small grid units. So I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4 over here. Now because of the proportional editing, what it did, it started to bring all the other faces with it, basically giving us a curve. So if you look at what's going on the bottom over here, it's basically giving us a small hilltop over here. Okay, we're going to do the same thing over here on this area. So we're going to click on this one. We're going to do 3 again, and you can press the Z key over here to see. Just click on this and do 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm just going to do 5. I'm going to do Z and just going to look at the bottom over here. Okay, so you see how we're getting this really nice hilltop shape over here. It's starting to define this area. That's exactly what we want. So this is going to be a very subtle feature over here on the bottom of the foot. Okay, so let's do the same thing here on the heel. Just click on this edge, click on this edge, go to your right view and just zoom in to get the smaller grid units and just bring it down 1, 2, 3, and then 4. So now you can see that we're getting this really nice arch over here. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and look at this from the bottom again, just to W to show you what's going on, right? If you just rotate it like this, you can start to see the shadowy areas in here. Okay, now what we're going to do is actually go ahead and select on these edges over here. Okay, just these edges, and I'm going to move it like this, right? Rotate it so it looks like this. We're going to take off snapping and we're going to do this freehand. So just press the G key and ever so slightly move this out, and now do your scroll wheel to bring it down so it doesn't affect the toes. See how I'm bringing it down? You can look at the proportional size. It's at 16. So I'm just going to bring it out just a little more over here. That's all I did. The reason we did this is because it needs to be out like this over here. Okay, so next we're going to do rotate it like this, and now that we have this with the snapping off, we're going to click on this and just rotate the view like this, do G, and very slowly just bring this up. You're going to do this very tiny movements, and that's it. Just do W. You can start to see that how we are getting this idea over here. Next, just do tab. We're going to click on this, get rid of the proportional editing, go back to snapping, and just go ahead and smooth this out. W smooth, 1 and then 2. And just do tab over here. And what we'll do now is go ahead and start to move on into the toes. So we're going to do this in the next lesson for the toes, okay? So let's go ahead and go back into edit mode and switch to this one and just click on this and just do W and then smooth over here. So now if you do tab, you can see that what we've done is completed all the surface anatomy of the foot over here, from the top, and then here from the back, and here from the bottom. Okay, so I'm just going to park it like this over here, just like this, the way we had it. Let's go ahead and just switch this back on the way we had it, and we're just going to resave this file, and I'm just going to save it again. So this is over here, shows lesson 13. I'm just going to do file, save. So I'll see you in the next lesson. Thank you.